I have no idea how we got here so fast this year, but we are knee deep in holiday crunch time. This is the time of year where you've got parties popping up left and right. You are trying to figure out how to finish up those last gifts. And then also, there's always that person that you inevitably forgot on your gift list. You got to scramble to get them something. I've got you covered today. I've got recipes, last minute hacks. I'm going to have you covered so you can get all that wrapped up and enjoy the holiday season. You're watching Whiskey and Whit. My name is Whitney, and a huge welcome back to my whiskey craft buddies who are here each and every week to DIY with me. We have been having an absolute blast this holiday season, so I'm so thankful you guys have been along for the ride. Let's get into all these tips. We're going to get through them. You're going to get making them, and you are going to cross everything off your list.
I love a charcuterie board as much as the next person, but being from the Midwest, I also love a good dip board. So throughout this video, I'm going to be sharing so many different ideas for dips because they're so easy to throw together for potlucks, dishes to pass, something to take to a party. And we're going to start with my famous loaded baked potato dip. When I tell you, people always ask for the recipe. I always get asked to bring this places, and it is the easiest thing you're ever going to put together. You have got to have this recipe in your arsenal. In a crock pot, you're going to combine 1 block of cream cheese, 16 ounces of sour cream, about 2 cups of shredded cheddar cheese, I kind of just play it by ear, 1 pouch of bacon bits, and some dried chives. I combine everything in there. Literally, it's as easy as dump and go. And I like the dried chives just because they are easy. You don't have to do any chopping, but you could also use fresh chives, and you can also make fresh bacon and chop that up if you want to do that as well. I put this little guy on high because there's only high and low settings, but if you've got a crock pot with a medium setting, you can do that as well. You're going to mix it up as it starts to melt, and then you know it's ready when it is all combined and a little steamy like this. And then along with it, I always bring 2 bags of wavy party size chips, and you're good to go. Be prepared to get asked for this recipe. For the past few years, I have had peanut clusters on my Pinterest board, and I'm finally going to make them. This is a hybrid of a few different recipes, and these turned out so good. You're going to start with 16 ounces of salted roasted peanuts, so that's the whole container. Dump it in your crock pot. Also dump 1 10-ounce bag of white chocolate chips and then a bag and a half of dark chocolate chips, which is about 15 ounces. Cover it with a tea towel so you don't get any condensation on your chocolate because that would make it nasty, and cook it on low in your crock pot for 30 minutes. While that is cooking, you're going to take some of these pretzel sticks, and you could even do a snack size bag. You don't need a ton, but take each rod and break it into 3 or 4 pieces. Then you know your chocolate's done when it's a little shiny like this. You're going to go ahead and stir all those pieces up to get your peanuts fully coated. Then to that mixture, we are going to add 3/4 cup of our broken up pretzels. We're also going to add some creamy peanut butter, 1/4 cup, and then I added a whole bag of caramel morsels. Put your tea towel back on after you stir it and cook it again for another 5 minutes just on low. That will help those caramel morsels just go ahead and melt into everything. And then I lined a cookie sheet with some of these mini little cupcake tins, just the paper ones. I used my cookie scoop, which is 1.5 tablespoons, and just put them in there. And then you can also add with sprinkles, but that's totally optional. Then take that whole tray, pop it in your fridge for about an hour. That is going to harden everything for you. Then you can pop them back out. They will be all nice and hard and ready to be eaten. I like to store them in airtight containers at room temperature until they're ready to get packaged up. And to do that, I just grab some fun little tins from Dollar Tree, is where both of these came from. Line them with some parchment paper, load them up with all of your goodies, and then I like to tie them up and add a tag. So you will notice throughout this video, I've got all these different matching tags for the recipes, so you can attach these to these gifts if you are going to give the food. It has ingredient and storage information, so then that way you can gift with confidence, so then people know what is in the food that you're giving them. And speaking of what is in the food, how cute are these little peppermint bows? These have went viral. I've seen them on Instagram, TikTok, all over the place. And I wanted to try them for myself to see if they really were as easy as those content creators made them look. So what they said to do is line a baking sheet with parchment paper, get some mini candy canes. These are from Dollar Tree. And I would recommend that you get some with a little bit longer of like bottoms. So like not the hook part, but the straight part. I put them in these little heart shapes and I preheated my oven to 175. I heated them up for about 10 minutes and it gets them pliable enough that you can kind of squish them. I would say maybe even try 15 minutes because mine, I cracked some of them. They weren't perfect, but I did make some really cute ones. So you win some, you lose some, and especially for $1.25, it was worth the experiment. I got them all pushed together, and then I took some of the broken pieces to create the little center loop of my bow. Pop them back in at 175 for another 10 minutes, and then squish them together, and then let them cool and harden. These were fun to just add into my peanut cluster containers, adding a little bit of traditional Christmas color, and honestly, those bows are so hot this year that they are really on trend. So every single year I run out of oven space because we're cooking, you know, turkey or ham or whatever for the holidays. We've got all these other things, but I love green bean casserole and we have it at our house. I'm always making this. So what I'm doing is I'm putting together, this is a double batch. I just literally follow the French's recipe on the back. But then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it in my crock pot on low for anywhere from 3 to 4-ish hours. If you need it a little bit more, you can crank it up. But then we're gonna come back, add the French fried onions on the top, and then I'm gonna have a lot more oven space because I've got this in the crock pot. This has been the year of the mocktail for me, and I've tried so many different ones, and this one has to be one of my top favorites. This recipe is for Christmas punch from Mom on Time Out, and she has both a cocktail and a mocktail recipe. Now, you definitely don't need fresh squeezed orange juice for this, but I was out of orange juice this day, but we did have oranges, and it also gave me half of an orange to create a garnish with these little quarter oranges, so something you could do if you want. You're going to mix up 2 ounces of orange juice, 2 ounces of cranberry juice or cran apple, 2 ounces of sparkling apple cider, and then you're going to top with 2 to 4 ounces of ginger ale, ginger beer, or club soda. I did ginger beer. Now, I almost took out this. I almost took out this outtake, but honestly, we keep it real over here. The lid wasn't on all the way, but we ended up regrouping, making a delicious drink, and you can also add each ingredient one by one to get this cool mixology effect, and it looks really cool. So if you've got a clear glass like this, you could do it either way. You can make a huge batch of this. She's got the information over on her blog, so I will link that down in the description and the pinned comment. But the great thing is you can make a full batch of this, and then adults and kids alike can enjoy it, and then adults can add something to it like vodka if you want to make it a cocktail. Definitely a win-win. This is so delicious. I've been drinking these all the time. You've got to try it. If you're headed to a party and you are taking a bottle for a drink instead of taking an actual like mixed drink, here's a PSA. I have seen a lot of folks sharing, here's how to gift a bottle of wine, and they roll it up like that with the bottom part of the bottle out. The sad thing is people are going to pick it up by the tea towel and it's going to fall at the bottom. So instead, stick it in the center, then that way you have got it folded over, and then roll it so there is a tea towel piece underneath your bottle. Tie it up with some ribbon, and then I made this fun little Making Spirits Bright design that will be over in my blog, and you can either add text for your own name or you can use a pen and just sign it. I have this fancy little doodad from Amazon that cut the corners really nice, and I also have this other fancy doodad from Amazon from We Are Memory Keepers that you can easily cut and seal the edges of velvet ribbon. This is a game changer for Christmas. I wish I bought it earlier in the season, but it heat sets it so it's not going to fray everywhere, and it looks nice and professionally put together. So like I said, you can grab this file over in my free file library, and you can either add your own name with text before you print it, or you can just sign it by hand. And this is a fun way to gift a bottle of something when you're heading to a party, and also make sure it's not busted before they can enjoy it.
This is your first time finding me, hello and welcome. If you would like to join the Whiskey Craft Buddies and enjoy today's video, be sure to hit subscribe down below, and also be sure to opt in to my free email newsletter. That also gives you, on top of the weekly updates, free access to my hundreds of printables and cut files over on my blog, whiskeyandwhit.com. All the details for that are down in the description.
And speaking of printables, I wanted to include this in my Dollar Tree hacks video last week, and I airheaded out and just forgot it. So I'm going to show you how you can use some of my free printables as well as some Dollar Tree glow sticks and pencils to create fun little kids holiday gifts. I went with the color this year because I think this is super fun. I know a lot of craft buddies are moms, grandmas, room moms, and also teachers. So here is something for you. Grab whatever file you like. I've got a lot of different variations over in the pack on my free file library. Cut them out, add a slit by folding it in half like this, just don't cut all the way through, and then slide in your pencils, glow sticks, or a mixture of the two. Then that way these are super quick and easy to gift. You can also sign them or add your name if you want to with a text box, but you could just gift them like this. They are super cute, super functional, and a great kids gift that won't break the bank. Here's a quick and easy gift for folks like teachers, coaches, neighbors, and it's also low clutter because it's food so they can eat it and then get it out of their house so they don't have a lot of stuff after the holidays. I grabbed a variety of things from Walmart for the recent mystery box challenge. I ended up making these and actually donating them to my local food pantry as part of the random acts of kindness challenge that Courtney gave us for the mystery box. However, these would also make really great gifts for the folks I talked about before. I put them in some cellophane bags and some Dollar Tree containers, and it was super quick and easy to put together, and it's also pretty cost effective. You can put some fun items in there and then just hand them to the person. They can have a quick and easy little fun Christmas festive breakfast, and then they can get rid of that stuff and they don't have extra clutter in their house. This tag that I'm showing is a free printable over in my free file library. Something else that's free over there that could also be added to these kits are these fun little pennants. They are so easy to print out. They're another free file. You can glue them to either dowel rods, bamboo skewers, or even disposable paper straws. Put them into your gifts and it just adds a really fun element. I printed on cardstock. You can package it up with literally whatever you want and it will add spice to any gift that you want to give this holiday season. This next one has to be one of my favorites I made in the whole video because it is just so delicious. It is an apple cinnamon bake. You could take this as a dish to pass, you could gift it as a gift, or it would be great for Christmas morning. You're going to start by mixing up some cinnamon and sugar in a bowl and set that to the side. Then I'm going to open a container of Grands rolls, and the original recipe for this called for 2 cans, but in our house we don't need 2 cans, so I'm doing a half recipe, but I will have the information for both down below so you can decide. I'm going to cut each roll into 6 pieces, so 2 strips and then 1 across the center, and toss those into a bowl. Then I'm going to add some melted butter over the top and give it a good mix so everything is coated. And then we're going to cover that with about a half of the cinnamon sugar mixture we just made and stir it up. So now when we get to the apple, this is where you are going to either make it this way if you're cooking it right away, or you are going to follow a little bit different of instructions so then that way it doesn't get all soggy before you gift it. I'm doing half of a can of apple pie filling, again, because I'm doing half of a recipe. I'm spraying my square pan and I'm going to add my mixture in there. Then I'm going to top it with some heavy whipping cream. Put it in the oven at 350, and we're going to cook it anywhere between like 27 and 35 minutes, depending on your oven. Also, while it's cooking, put the icing from the Grands right on top because the heat will start to soften that. And here's what you're looking for. You want it to be nice and puffed up. You want that cream to be absorbed by the rolls and have it bubbly. Then take that icing, drizzle it over the top, and it is ready to enjoy. Let my mother-in-law sample this the day that I was making it. I had some. It was so good. It is nice and rich. It's definitely one of those Christmas calories don't count type of deal. It's not the healthiest, but oh my gosh, is it good. You definitely are going to want to try this if you like apple dessert because it is just beyond, and it is so good. In this recipe video last year, I shared with you some dry dip mix for ranch seasoning, and I'm back this year with a ton of other options. We're going to kick it off with some bacon dip. This stuff is so good and so easy to make. The dry bacon dip mix includes bacon bits, minced onion, powdered beef bouillon, and garlic powder. You're going to put all the ingredients in there. All of the information on how much is going to be down below. Whisk it up. And then I bought this little funnel that fits right into these 8-ounce mason jars. I got those at Walmart, really inexpensive. I put my mixture in there, put the lid on, gave it a good shake, and that was good to go. Now, all of these dip mixes I am sharing, you can mix up with sour cream, mayonnaise, or a mixture of the two. I have little tags that will show how you can do it, but this one is just a cup of sour cream, 3 tablespoons of the mixture, and some mild cheddar shredded cheese. This is so good with chips. I made some of this just to put to the side, so then that way I would have this to make this dip when I have the munchies postpartum. I also have some for a taco dip that includes dried parsley, minced onions, dried chives, ground cumin, and salt. Again, we're going to mix it up, whisk it up, throw it in a container, and that will be good to gift. An herb and ranch dip mix option, which is dried parsley, dill, garlic powder, minced onion, onion powder, salt, and pepper. And finally, this is the one that started it all that you guys loved last year, the ranch seasoning mix. It's got buttermilk powder, salt and pepper, dried chives, dill weed, onion powder, garlic powder, and dried parsley. Now, I recommend for best results to store them in the fridge, especially up until you gift them. And I like to tell people just keep them in your fridge. Then that way it will definitely keep them fresh. Tie on your little tags, which again, these are all over in my free file library. And as you can see, they match the ones from last year. So if you want to mix and match from my recipe video this year and last year, all the tags will match, which I like. So all of that and the details will be linked down below. You can put them in 8-ounce or 4-ounce mason jars. They fit really well, and you can make one or all four. The options are endless. So any of those options of the dried mix would be great for the dip board we talked about to kick off this video, but here's another fan favorite that I actually stole the recipe from my mom. I've shared this before, a lot of you guys, it's a Craft Buddy favorite too. Let me show you how easy it is to make. I use a cup of sour cream and a cup of mayo. I use Miracle Whip Light, but you could use whatever mayo that you like, and I mix that up first. Then I'm going to take a tomato, I'm going to cut out the center seeds and then dice it up. This makes it so my dip doesn't get watery. If I cut it up and leave the seeds in, it just waters down the dip and it's not as good. So cut the seeds out, then add it to your mixture as well as the packet of bacon bits. Again, with this one, you can do fresh bacon if you'd rather do that, but I'm all about easy over here. Mix it together, add it to a ramekin, and it is ready to be served. I like to give it a couple hours in the fridge for the flavors to combine, but you can serve it right away. Our favorite way to eat this is with some crackers or with some sun chips. Now for the ranch dip that I told you about earlier. It's so easy to do. 1 cup sour cream, 2 tablespoons of that seasoning, or you can use Hidden Valley Ranch if you want, but I promise you this is better. I'm a ranch connoisseur. I love ranch, and this homemade seasoning is just beyond. It's so good. Now to thin it out just a little bit and make it feel restaurant style, we're going to do a splash of milk, mix it in, and then I add some carrots to the dip board in case somebody would like a little bit different of a crunch and not all that salt. Then to put it together, it's super easy. I got this from Aldi. It's like a bowl plate serving platter. I just put the dips in a ramekin and then these cute little trees I got from Target in their kitchen section. Then I'm just going to dump the chips and add the crackers all around the outside, and then people can kind of graze. I just put it in the kitchen and folks can find something that they like. This has been a win. I'm gonna roll with it. When I find something to take to a party that everybody likes, I'm gonna bring it to all the parties, and this dip board is it. There are a ton of different uses for these lasagna trays at Dollar Tree, but this is gotta be one of my favorites for Christmas. We're gonna get 2 packs of Grand's cinnamon rolls, and we're gonna make the best ones you've ever had. This is the TikTok viral one, and it is not gonna disappoint. Take your 2 things of Grand cinnamon rolls, put them around the bottom, and then I broke the last one up and filled any holes. I'm covering it about 1/2 inch with heavy whipping cream, and then in a container I'm mixing 1 stick of melted butter, 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm also adding a little bit of vanilla, cinnamon, and a little bit of salt. Pour that over the top of all of your cinnamon rolls, and this is what it's going to look like. Now you can keep it for yourself like this with easy cleanup, just covered with the foil, but this would make an amazing hostess gift. Imagine showing up to the party and saying, hey, breakfast tomorrow's on me. I just write the instructions on there, which is bake at 350 for 35 to 45 minutes. Then you're going to give them the icing that came with the cinnamon rolls. And you guys, these are to die for. You could easily do this for yourself and make them on Christmas Eve to then just pop in Christmas morning. On top of a hostess gift, this would be great to take to a neighbor that you know is having a rough season, and it's really easy for them to just throw it together. Now, once they're cooked, they're going to plump up, they're going to look amazing, and then you just add that icing that came with the Grand cinnamon rolls originally, and these things, oh my gosh, they're like cinnamon. They are so stinking good. It's a really easy way to show someone that you were thinking about them. And the other great thing is cleanup is so easy because they just have to get rid of that pan. They don't have to worry about getting all the sticky brown sugar off anything.
This is my final Christmas video for 2024, which is crazy. Like I said at the beginning, I don't know how we got here so fast, but I think it has something to do with the fact that I am waiting on sweet baby boy to make his arrival. So I may go a little radio silent for just a little bit, so please bear with me, but be sure that your notifications are turned on because I will come back with a video to introduce little man, his name, the stories, all the things to you once I am able to do that. So thank you so much for all the love and prayers this year for the pregnancy, and I cannot wait myself to meet him and also to introduce him to my Whiskey Craft Buddy community. So I will see you guys in that video. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate this time of year. I'm so thankful to have you here. I'm thankful for another wonderful year here at Whiskey and Whit, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye. I had to work ahead this year, and I'm 35 weeks pregnant, and these shirts just aren't cutting it anymore. So if you ever wonder what it looks like, sometimes the shirts aren't long enough. Real life.